Brian, we speculated where Tucker was going to go when he left Fox. I had thought maybe Rumble, and I think that would have been the right place for him. But and we'll get into why. But in the meantime, here's Tucker's statement on why he chose Twitter.
Hey, it's Tucker Carlson. You often hear people say the news is full of lies. But most of the time, that's not exactly right. Much of what you see on television or read the New York Times is, in fact, true in the literal sense. It could pass one of the media's own fact checks. Lawyers would be willing to sign off on it. In fact, they may have. But that doesn't make it true. It's not true. At the most basic level, the news you consume is a lie of the stealthiest and most insidious kind.
Can you pause
Facts have been...
Yeah.
So is it no longer a conspiracy or something?
Well, in whose eyes?
Well, I don't know. It's just insane to me that when I first developed wet feet in this space, or wet behind the ears, some would say, that I didn't know a lot of stuff. And as I gained more and more knowledge, it was always prevalent that that was the main idea behind news, was disinformation, and it was controlled, and everything is fucking. And then here we are, Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, and you know, I think a lot of people would say that that's always been the case. The thing that's interesting is people on the right have often excluded Fox News from that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was often like, oh, CNN, MSNBC, and you know, all the other ones. And
yeah, it's weird. That's a good point, David.
I think this has been by far the most damaging thing for Fox News that's happened in our lifetime. People are starting to see it now.
It's crazy it's happening at this time too, right before the real election, because who was Trump? It was basically Trump News Network, right? Is what they always said. It was like his propaganda sphere and all this, and it's dismantled in real time. And it's always been like this, right? Like, back to your point, David, it's always been like this. You know, and these people operated in the very system and were just told to act as fake opposition. Like, what he's even said about the news thing is, it's so much deeper than the news. Why is the news lying to you? Like, you're still not going deep enough, Tucker.
Yeah.
It's just very interesting that it's now full circle, and it's like we're watching the Ministry of Truth be formed in front of our eyes and stuff. So,
withheld on purpose, along with proportion and perspective. You are being manipulated. How does that work? Let's see. If I tell you that a man has been unjustly arrested for armed robbery, that is not, strictly speaking, a lie. He may have been framed. At this point, there's been no trial, so no one can really say. But if I don't mention the fact that the same man has been arrested for the same crime 6 times before, am I really informing you? No, I'm not. I'm misleading you. And that's what the news media are doing in every story that matters, every day of the week, every week of the year. What's it like to work in a system like that? After more than 30 years in the middle of it, we could tell you stories. The best you can hope for in the news business at this point is the freedom to tell the fullest truth that you can. But there are always limits. And you know that if you bump up against those limits often enough, you will be fired for it.
That seems like him kind of explaining what happened.
yeah, that's a little low shade at Fox News, huh?
Yeah, that seemed like a pretty direct shot at Fox.
Yeah, and then you obviously seen, we talked about a little bit last week about how they tried a little assassination of his character with some of the video clips they were surfacing to try to make him look like a unhinged or just like stressful. And yeah, it's interesting. Once again, I know we're just criticizing this in like real time and blah, 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 but dude, like, why though? Like you said, like, oh, the news just lies to you, but yeah, but why? Like, I know the news lies to me. Go deeper. And I hope he does. I really do. I really hope, like, this truth that you speak of, that you say it's international elites that have freaking predator islands.
Yeah, I'd love to see what his new show is going to end up being like. But
I mean, he's pushing an awful lot of truth. His main thing right now is truth, right? Tucker, Truth Carlson. Like, that's his stench right here from what I'm absolving from his little his boost here.
He goes on.
That's not a guess. It's guaranteed. Every person who works in English language media understands that. The rule of what you can't say defines everything. It's filthy, really, and it's utterly corrupting. You can't have a free society if people aren't allowed to say what they think is true. Speech is the fundamental prerequisite for democracy. That's why it's enshrined in the first of our constitutional amendments. Amazingly, as of tonight, there aren't many platforms left that allow free speech.
Why?
Rumble does. Just saying. Follow us on Rumble. Yeah, again, Ryan, to your point, it's a very, and maybe that's just because the type of statement that says this isn't really him doing deep dives on anything, so that's probably why he's not going into the why. But yeah, why?
I'll be watching this. Like seriously, I'll be watching you, Tucker. Like this is, you're right now the vestige of all these people that feel like they are lost and don't have a voice. You know, people that don't have mainstream representation. That was like that's why it's so. Back to your point, David, of the downfall of Fox News here in particular. Right before an election, it's an odd time.
Yeah, this is a big opportunity.
The last big one remaining in the world, the only one, is Twitter, where we are now. Twitter has long served as the place where our national conversation incubates and develops. Twitter is not a partisan site. Everybody's allowed here, and we think that's a good thing. And yet, for the most part, the news that you see analyzed on Twitter comes from media organizations that are themselves thinly disguised propaganda outlets. You see it on cable news, you talk about it on Twitter. The result may feel like a debate, but actually the gatekeepers are still in charge. We think that's a bad system. We know exactly how it works, and we're sick of it. Starting soon, we'll be bringing a new version of the show we've been doing for the last 6.5 years to Twitter. We'll be bringing some other things too, which we'll tell you about. But for now, we're just grateful to be here. Free speech is the main right that you have. Without it, you have no others. See you soon.
Oh, you're so wrong. It's the Second Amendment, Tucker.
Yeah,
you don't have freedom of speech without the freedom to defend it, bud.
Yeah, we've talked about this. But with, I guess initial thoughts from you on that.
Did he not read the Twitter files? I mean, there was only what, David, like 7,000 of them.
Well, yeah, there was many. We did. I think there were there was slightly under 20. We went through all of them. I mean,
it's just so funny. He talks about like the truth and like this system, right? He's like basically calling out cable news, and then what? You're gonna go on Twitter where the government has portals plugged into every apparatus and hashtag that's ever been like, what do you? It's like a bigger system you're trying to fight, and you say it's truth. What? Because you have, you know, what's crazy is he used their system, right? And then he's shit talking them. It's so funny. Yeah, somebody at 30 years. Yeah, you were quiet that whole time. You lied to me for 30 years, and now I got to watch on Twitter to help you.
Well, we'll get just a quick clip here too. This is, man, and this is just pointing directly at the problem and the kind of.
I mean, what do we expect, though, right? Really, David? You know?
Yeah. So we would call this wrong think, but most people would call this correct think. This is, oh God, I don't even know who the one guy is, and long lost Brian Stelter talking on NBC. about Carlson going to Twitter.
Okay, well, listen, Twitter was already under fire from misinformation, disinformation, all-out lies, anti-Semitism, racism before Elon Musk took over, and now it's gotten kind of crazy, right? Seemingly unmoored, if you will. Will anybody be able to police what Carlson says? Or is this the point? It's just a free-for-all.
I think this is the point. It is a free-for-all. It's what Elon Musk wants to provide. This move by Tucker may cement the idea of Twitter as a right-wing website.
First of all, I can't even listen to that guy. I don't know how he had a cable news show for so long.
A lot of airports, David.
But I don't know if you caught that there. He just kind of slid it in there. But who's going to be able to police what Tucker says? First of all, why should anyone police anything anyone says?
These are the liberals as well, David, the liberal progressive media that want free speech and freedom for these other protected classes. But the largest protected class is the American citizen, David. And we have the right for free speech, especially on the internet. Yeah, it's interesting, David. Once again, the government has the portals. Like, has Elon cleaned any of that up?
Well,
like they have, like, I haven't heard a lick about Elon giving back the government all of the money for all the portals and stuff.
Ryan, of course we wouldn't know that because we're not deep inside Twitter, right? So we can't see all the things that are happening behind the scenes. We can only hope for the best. But interestingly enough, I don't know if you saw, Twitter's getting a new CEO
And a new name.
The name thing, I'm not 100%.
X?
Yeah, but is that going to be like is that all of Twitter, or was that like a weird
I don't know, dude.
app thing? I don't remember.
You never know with this guy. He said he wants to have an all-in-one experience or something, right? Like a everything app or something. He put it.
Yeah,
everything app, I think, is.
I would love to state for the record, we called 100%. We said Elon's not buying Twitter just to leave it Twitter. He's a smart businessman. He's going to revolutionize it, and he's going to do more with the platform than Twitter ever did with the platform. So, of course, that's naturally what's happening. But the new CEO who's taking over, Linda Yaccarino, perhaps, I believe. The fun fact about Linda Yaccarino, 2 fun facts, I guess it depends who you ask, which makes it really bizarre. I feel like I know where I stand on this, but some people are saying, it depends where you stand. People on the left are saying, well, she was part of the Trump team, and she's a big MAGA Republican. And if you follow people on the right love to point out, rightfully so, that she sat on the some chair for the World Economic Forum.
Super right MAGA Republican.
Yeah, super right MAGA Republican. I'm nervous about her. Anybody who sits on the World Economic Forum, I don't trust. Just right out of the gate.
Why, Dave? It's not like they telling me I'm going to own nothing.
It's literally a global elitist group of pricks running around telling everybody what to do. So that's going to, I mean, if that's not everything that was wrong with Twitter before Elon bought it, I don't know what is. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully Tucker, when he's not being policed, is doing all the right things, going deeper into why people are silencing speech and doing all those things, why cable news lies, to going more into the why and the why and the why.
Well, it's just interesting because it's like, do they let Twitter, like, does Twitter personally just let Tucker go? Like, I mean, because we're potentially talking like the road of Alex Jones here a little bit.
Well, so Elon cleared it up a little bit too. Tucker didn't like sign anything with Twitter. He didn't like how Crowder signed with Rumble. Like, there's no official. He's just going to be broadcasting his show on Twitter. So, I guess a couple questions. Why would you specifically, and maybe he's not, but why would you specifically limit yourself to Twitter? It seems a little interesting. Like, if you're going to be doing your own independent show, why not do all the platforms? Why not do Facebook, YouTube, Rumble?
Well, he had a point maybe because he said you go to Twitter to get the news anyways and then talk about it on other platforms.
Sure.
So, like, maybe he's just literally trying to negate the middleman because maybe he has a larger, smaller access to control it, maybe.
Possibly. Just seems like an interesting choice if you're independent. I just think there was something behind the scenes, even if there's nothing official. Something happened behind the scenes. Elon and Tucker, and it might not be official, but something.
Tucker wants to go to Mars, is what you're telling me. I seen something about an all-women's crew. The first crew to Mars should be all females. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. I know it's a segue. Just one more thing. We'll get out of here, David. Do you think Rumble is a echo chamber, though? Or at least the illusion of it, which is why he's kind of like trickling.
It is the illusion of it for sure, because like he said with Twitter, everybody's allowed on the platform. And that's the same way with Rumble. But the thing is, all the right-wing people who've been literally forced off of other platforms naturally fall to Rumble because it's the next biggest platform, and it just so happens to allow all the speech. So why wouldn't you go to Rumble? So is it becoming an echo chamber? Maybe a little bit, but probably not as bad as people think.
All right. I just want to get that on the record, clear it out, because I think, especially with Twitter, when I see Elon Musk and Twitter and I hear in everything app, me personally, I use YouTube like literally hours a week on the background while I do other stuff, but it's like my everything app is YouTube. So how is Elon going to pry me out of there into his and he's good at that. So it just makes me really wonder what this space will look like in 2 years from now, considering we're seeing not only the culture war on the internet, but other things as well, like these CEO switches and news. But I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Right.
We might even have to start doing Twitter videos. Who knows, right?
Dave Ryan, Twitter Rumble, December 1773. Catch us Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. YouTube, Rumble, Facebook. Dave and I will be there. As always, David, thank you for your time. I'll see everybody later.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Ryan.
Later, man.